Of that and much more over the course of the next 2 hours. But first, the Chinese Communist Party is buying up hundreds of thousands and billions of dollars worth of U.S. farmland and land for energy production. In North Dakota, hundreds of those acres are just a few miles from the Grand Forks Air Force Base, and state and federal governments are allowing it to happen. Now, there's a new bill in Congress to prevent the Chinese government and those linked to it from purchasing any land in the United States. For more on this important story, we're joined by Congressman from the great state of Pennsylvania and member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Dan Meuser. Congressman, thank you so much. Talk to us about this threat from communist China that's happening really right under our noses here.
Yeah, Tom, hey, great being with you. It is a threat. We do have a level of scrutiny on foreign purchases, particularly on countries that are engaged in terrorist activities and such. The Committee on Foreign Investments has overview. The Treasury Department has the weighted decision making. And very unfortunately, there have been purchases made by the People's Republic of China and other Chinese firms that the Department of Defense, the intelligence agencies recommended a no, that the purchase not be made, and yet it was overridden by the Treasury. Now, this division, the Committee for Foreign Investment, was reformed in 2018, but you know what? Under the circumstances, with all this purchasing that China is attempting to make, it probably due for new reforms.
Now, is this about controlling land to extract energy resources? Is it about buying up farms, cattle ranches to control supply, food supplies? Why are they doing this?
Well, there's a number of arguments. One just simply states that they're making investments in the U.S. Others are more suspicious, particularly when thousands of acres of land are purchased. You mentioned in North Dakota. It's very surprising because they do have restrictions in North Dakota. It's one of the states that actually does. But they are buying acres near military bases, both in Texas and in North Dakota and other states. As a matter of fact, my colleague, Representative Tony Gonzalez, recommended a no to turn down the purchase of acreage purchase in Texas near a military base, and it was actually overridden. This was just in the last year.
Yeah.
So, look, we need a higher level of scrutiny. And we're not alone. China's engaged in this sort of activity in the UK and other countries as well.
These landholders, even though they're foreign, they can use tax subsidies from the United States taxpayers for that land. Doesn't that need to stop too?
Absolutely. Look, there was a saying, you may have heard it, America first. Okay, we need to be reasonable. We are a country of opportunity. We are a place of freedom. But we have got to look after our national security first, without a question, and we need to look after America first. You know, look at it this way: the Chinese government took over the company that owned the Waldorf Astoria.
That's right.
In New York City. The Chinese government now owns the Waldorf. A China company owns 57% of Disneyland. So do you think a U.S. company would own 57% of the Great Wall? Not possible. Right.
Yeah. No, look, and the Chinese don't do anything for purely commercial purposes. There's always a larger strategic role to benefit the communist regime there, even if they claim that it's a private enterprise. And this is not a new problem, Congressman. China, it appears, increased its buying during the pandemic into the first year of the Biden administration. What has been the administration's response and the response from Democrats in Congress about this?
Well, slow, late. The Biden administration and the Biden Democrats really just respond to crisis that they create as opposed to anything else, and then spin it in a manner that makes it sound better than it really is. I mean, come on, from Afghanistan to the economy to the Ukraine, there's nothing but spin coming out of there. So they've not addressed it, which is certainly no surprise. But as you mentioned at the beginning here, we do have a bill that hopefully we can get our Democrat colleagues on board with to provide more scrutiny, more oversight. and once again look after America first.
Yeah, and Senator Tuberville also has a bill in the Senate that does this as well. Real quick, just 15 seconds, Congressman, do you think that we should be going as far as forcing the communist regime to divest itself of some of these properties, or marquee properties like the Waldorf Astoria in New York, for instance?
I think every asset of a country that is engaged in adversarial actions and remarks to the United States should certainly be under further review. We should take this potential threat serious. Again, we're about freedom, we're about investment, but not if it has ill intentions. So yeah, it requires a high level of scrutiny, particularly against countries that engage in adversarial activities, as mentioned. Yep.
All right.
And it will. And it will. I can promise you. Put Republicans in charge of the House. This will happen.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing that. Pennsylvania Congressman Dan Meuser, thank you so much for being here and for your insights on this issue.
Hey, thanks, Tom.